Hello again. This is Melissa LeBay, and right now I will be discussing my Unit 3 discussion post, the 321 response. We'll start off with the three things I learned. The first one is the mandated reporters. Um, Before studying social work, I always knew that if a person witnessed or suspected child abuse, neglect, or abandonment, they are supposed to report it. But recently, while studying social work, I learned that now professionals have to report suspicious or obvious child abuse. So I'm glad that I learned that because it brought me back to when I was reading the book till the end of June. And the preference part, the author was, I believe the author stated that she was abused as a child, and she always wondered why no one reported it, like the doctors, whenever she would always go back and for a repeated abuse on her body, and why the school teachers never noticed how she was a grade a, an A student, and then she all of a sudden suddenly went down to not coming to school and failing her courses and stuff. And then and she always wondered why no one had helped her in that situation as a young child. So I liked that part because now that it's the law and it's mandatory, if if the family friends or people that just scared they don't want to, they don't have to, because the school teacher or the doctor or somebody or the social worker, someone will report it. So that's good. And some examples of the mandatory reporters are lawyers, judges, school teachers, doctors, other physicians, and things of that nature, police and stuff like that. So next, I have the second thing that I learned is the Child Labor Act. Um, it's in our book for this course, uh, exploring child welfare, in chapter 1. Um, Under child labor and education, it states that through its numerous publications that reported field investigations, the NCL appealed to church, women's, and college groups to advocate for the reform in child labor laws. The message was straightforward. Reformers believed that children could help with tasks around the farm and home, but they should also be allowed a childhood free from unhealthy and hazardous conditions, unsuitable wages, and unreasonable hours that could interfere with their physical development and education. And I like how the U.S. Constitution finally stepped in and made a law for children that was working underage. And the reason why um, it caught my attention was because I couldn't imagine being a child working at an early age, or children like my nieces and nephews or my best friend's kids working right now, because they're too young. You understand? Children should, at their age, they should, enjoy their childhood, because to me that's the best part of life. You're carefree, you don't have no worries, no responsibilities, and you can live. And they like to have fun, and they should learn, and they should develop and stuff like that. That's that stage. So working is, it shouldn't have been a part of a child's childhood. That was just, I didn't like that. And in addition, there was one part in the book where um, a couple sent their children to work for them and to support the family, and I thought that was just like unbelievable. I was like, wow, people actually really did that. So, excuse me, my phone. So I just, I didn't like that, and I'm glad that they finally made a law for that, because that was just unbelievable. And next I have, hold on just a second, my bookmark fell. So next I have the third thing that I liked was the Daycare Act. Um, in chapter 1, still in the our book chapter, it states right here that um signed by Roosevelt Franklin, The Laham Act of 1940 provided, among other funds, for communities money and daycare centers, despite suspicions that the end of the war would see mothers returning home to the care for their children. Rosie the River found that she enjoyed her new freedom and her family's increased income. The era of working mothers had begun, and the daycare outside the home increased. So, the reason why I like that, because it made a good difference for us for this time, because a lot of women are independent now. A lot of women go to school, and they're able, if they have children, to put their children in daycare and do what they have to do. So I thought that was really interesting and good, because that gives us time, to just, have fun. Well, not have fun, but like not really worry about, depending on their husbands or their boyfriends and stuff like that. So I thought that was really good, and I'm glad that I learned that the act started in 1940, the Daycare Act, or the act, or whatever that is. But I'm glad that that started for women, because I'm a woman and I don't have any children, but when I do, I'm so glad that they do have daycare, and I can do that, so I can be able to do everything that I want to do, everything that I need to do. Next next we'll go on to the two things that I didn't learn. Not right now. So the next thing that I learned is the two things that I didn't like, and I didn't grasp the it needs to be more clarified, is the infanticide, where children, it states here, still in chapter 1. It was a lot of things in chapter 1 for me, but it says right here, when unwanted children who were not aborted were often abandoned or killed. Infanticide was common during the Roman era and the flourishing of the Greeks. Infanticide, although prohibited by law, apparently was one response to poverty and the burden of too many female children. So, around that time, I guess if they weren't able to take care of their children, or if people had too many girls, daughters, they would kill them or abandon them. And I don't know why. It doesn't state it. It did say because of the poverty way, but why the girls and not the boys? So that was something that need to be further clarified for me. And and I was uncertain about, because I was like, why not the boys? Why just the girls? And I guess it bothered me a lot, because I'm a woman, and if I was alive during that time, I would be aborted, because I was a girl. I was born a woman, a girl. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that really bothered me. So the second thing that I didn't understand is the racial disproportionality. I'm sorry, I have bad pronunciation problems. But in the link that the professor asked us to look at, the guide of the packet, the information packet of racial disproportionality in child welfare, if you go down to the facts and the facts and the statistics, it states that children with color are more likely to be removed from the home and placed in care, and stay in care longer, and are less likely to return home or be adopted than the white children. And it tells us a lot of statistics, like Black and Native American children are 3 times more likely to be in foster care than white children. Youth are in certain states and countries. Hispanic children are also overrepresented. And it just states a lot of why. It states the statistics, the numbers of the colored children and the white children, but it never really states why. It gives us the policies, the legislations and policy, but it never really stated why. And I would like to learn more about that and to find out more about that. And for last but not least, the one question that I would like to ask you guys is I wanted to piggyback from the two things I didn't understand, the infanticide, where where I was telling you about children in poverty, or daughters are the ones that are abandoned and abused or killed. Well, actually abandoned and killed. And I still don't understand, like, why. And if you guys could, tell me a little bit about that. Well, you're inside, in your opinion. My opinion is maybe because, we're still in a male-dominated world, and I know then men was the rulers. They were, the head of the household. They were who we looked up to. They were the providers and stuff like that. So that's probably why they wanted to keep the boys. But I wanted to know what your opinion was, and that's about it. And thank you for listening. I look forward to looking at you guys' videos and hearing what you have to say, and what things did you learn and didn't learn, and what is your big question. And again, thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.